So here it is, a lovely Sunday afternoon in June in Falmere, and I'd like to take you back 50 years and try to understand something that a lot of people have asked me over time. How did your dad get involved in making welding wire in the beginning?
Yes, I personally would not have wished to get especially involved in welding wire, but he did take a degree in metallurgical engineering at the University of British Columbia in Canada. One of his summer vacations in Vancouver was with a fellow who had a wire mill and made wire in Vancouver. From then, he always thought that that was something he possibly could do somewhere else. He did work for various places and was fired actually by Eutectic. He decided that he better start up on his own. And so we just happened to come to Falmere.
When you first started out the company together, and what was that really like at the beginning? You'd bought the pig shed?
There was the brick building, lean-to shape, and there was a farrowing shed at the back of it. Anyway, pretty soon the farmer with the pigs took all his pigs away. And then we were left with a small agricultural bungalow. So I had one of the rooms as an office. The first thing that Jan did was put together a crushing machine in order to crush fused flux. And in fact, it was so successful, I think we had many Caterpillar dealers who sent us their fused flux, that we thought we really could have made a living out of just doing that.
So did he see that making wire was going to generate more opportunities or business opportunities than
definitely,
making flux?
because we had these Caterpillar dealerships who sent us this fused flux, were also at the same time renovating their machinery always with hard-facing materials. And so we thought, yes, if we could get together a wire mill, we would be able to make the materials ourselves and sell that to them. He also perfected his coiling machine here. And I remember that he was often working on the coiling machine and could hardly be interrupted from such a thing. He used to race up with lengths of wire trying to enthuse me with it. Look what we've made now. Yes.
And then in the 1970s, you had a lot of problems, didn't you, with the trade unions? Wasn't the circumstances forced you to move to France? Is that
yes,
correct?
I would say so, because it became impossible in a way for us, because we were importing and trying also to sell overseas, not just within Britain. The strikes were pretty terrible in Britain in the 60s and 70s. The picket line in Scotland was especially terrible. I think he was trying to make a delivery to Caledonian Tractor once. He could not drive it in because they said, "You want this, mate?" and showed him a Molotov cocktail and said, "You'll get this in the cab of your lorry if you move over this picket line."
I remember you saying that when you first arrived near Colmar and you set up the company there, you were terrified of the phone ringing.
Oh yeah, we were. We say, "No, it's your turn." No, it's your turn. Because we say, because
when it was potentially a customer calling up, but neither of you wanted to answer the phone.
We didn't want to answer because it involved figures. And so probably
you couldn't speak.
No,
the numbers were difficult.
The numbers are very difficult in French. We thought they were difficult, and if they'd ordered, so many kilos of wire, or said, "Call us back on this number," we would be completely stuck.
So some of our competitors are only in one location, and then they ship all around the world. We set up with a goal or a strategy to start manufacturing in England, and then in France, and then in Malaysia and US. That was, why do you think we have that idea versus some of our other competitors that tend to just stay in their local country?
Yes, I think maybe it had quite a lot to do with Jan's ability to get on with people very well and to speak other languages. So I think, yes, that he felt that he was a global citizen. I don't think he ever felt he was one place or another. So it was fairly easy for him to say, why don't we go and try what the Far East looks like.
And when you first went out to the Far East, you were thinking about either Malaysia or Singapore. What do you remember about Johor Bahru and Singapore back in 1977 or 8 when you first arrived?
We were entertained by some government officials in Singapore who invited us out to dinner and some kind of floor show. It was outside, I remember, and it was a wonderful buffet. And we were even offered land, but we thought it seemed a sort of built-up place, and we preferred the wide open spaces of Malaysia and the sort of sea breezes, and we thought, oh, this is really a very nice place to be in Malaysia.
So in 1966, when you'd hired your first employee, Percy, did you ever think what might happen if we carry on doing this for 50 years and what the company might look like at the end of that time?
Oh, in 66, yes, certainly. We wouldn't have dreamt that it would grow to, it would become so big as it is today. I know one of the biggest steps, and I can still remember it, was when we hired the first man, Percy. And we just thought to ourselves, oh my, we haven't just hired one man, we've hired all his family as well. We must absolutely make sure that's now our responsibility that he gets a weekly salary. So it was never our thought that we were going to have 1,000 and more employees in the end.
Being a family business, do you think that's had a big impact on the culture of the company?
Yes, I would have to say I do, because in the beginning, being small and a family business meant that our customers could call us up and get in touch with us very readily. And we were able to offer them delivery dates, which we kept to. And other large entities, which were our competitors, were not able to make decisions in the same quick way that we could.
What values do you think Dad would have most wanted to be kept within the company in terms of the legacy of how the company should be operated?
Well, I think one of his abiding values was looking after the employees well, and having a product which was technically innovative, so that we were always trying to keep ahead of our competitors, being very quick to deal with our customers on a very good way. I suppose he just would have enjoyed knowing that the company has grown to the extent that it is at today, and that most people would be able to see a career path for themselves within the company, and that we were a good employer. I would hope that that would be one of the best values of the company.